Stop. Don't scroll, don't pass this on. What's coming now is not background content. You waited. You waited when everyone around you received before you, when the window seemed to go dark, when your strength almost ran out, and you didn't leave. You stayed when staying made no sense. You kept believing when belief felt like the most expensive thing you owned, and you still paid it every single morning. This morning, something happened in the divine court. A window that has been lit for years, lit for you, received a decree with your name on it. Not a name written in pencil, not a name that could be erased when the season got hard. Your name in ink, on a document that no pit and no prison and no 13-year wait could ever reach. You didn't get here because of an algorithm. You got here because this meeting was set before today ever existed. I need you to stay with me, because I know what the next few nights look like for you. I know what it is to lie down and stare at the ceiling when the house is quiet and everyone else is asleep, and the question comes back. Not loud, just a pulse, patient and relentless. But when? You don't say it out loud anymore. You stopped asking out loud a long time ago. But at 3 in the morning, it's still there, waiting for an answer you haven't received. I know what it is to sit at someone's table, a wedding, a baby shower, a promotion dinner, and smile because you love them, genuinely you love them, and still feel the weight press deeper into your chest with every toast. Not bitterness, something quieter and harder than bitterness. The question beneath the smile, why them and not me? And then the guilt for asking. I know what it is when the money comes in and disappears before you can breathe. Not because you were careless, not because you spent it on things that didn't matter, but because there were more holes than reinforcement, more needs than margins, and the gap between where you are and where you were supposed to be keeps asking you if maybe the promise was for someone else. I know what it is when your body won't rest, even when it lies down. When sleep doesn't fix the exhaustion, because the exhaustion isn't in your muscles. It's in the waiting. It's in the holding posture. It's in the years of standing at a window, keeping your eyes on a promise that hasn't moved yet, while everything in you wants to sit down and admit you were wrong to believe it was real. There is an instrument I want to put in your hands before I go any further. Something that will meet you exactly where you've been living, not with motivation, not with another beautiful phrase, but with a protocol. A way to walk through what's about to open. I'll show you exactly what it is in a moment. But first, I need you to see the rest of what you're carrying. You started to pray so many times it became a script. You know the words. You've said them so often, they feel hollow now. Not because they're wrong, but because you've repeated them in the dark for so long that the sound of your own voice lost its weight. You start, and then you stop. You wonder if anyone is on the other side of that prayer, or if you're just talking to a ceiling. And beneath everything, the thing you've never said to anyone, the thing that pulses hardest at 3 in the morning, is this. What is wrong with me? Why did they receive, and I didn't? Why did the window stay lit for them and go dark for me? The pinned comment beneath this video has a link. Before you go anywhere, before you look away from this screen, I want you to know it's there, because what I'm about to show you is connected to it, and there are people right now watching this alongside you. People who were summoned here the same way you were, and the ones who understand what Moed means, and you will understand it before we're done. Those are the ones who move first. Now, let me tell you what God sent me here to say. What you called the closed window was never closed. The decrees you believed were cancelled were never cancelled. And the person who kept the flame burning, the one who prayed for you, specifically for you, without needing you to know, without needing anything in return, that person was provided by God, deliberately, for years. What you intended to harm me, God intended for good, to accomplish what is now being done. That is not a poem. That is Genesis 50:20. That is Joseph speaking to the brothers who threw him in a pit. I want you to do something right now. It's called Joseph's Inventory, and it takes 4 steps. Step 1, write down 3 things you called betrayal, loss, or punishment. The 3 things that hurt the most. Step 2, next to each one, finish this sentence. What God prepared through this was blank. Don't force it. Let the first thing that surfaces rise. Step 3, read Genesis 50:20 out loud over each item, not in your head. out loud over each one. What you intended to harm me, God intended for good. Step 4. Notice the first internal shift. It may happen on the second item, not the first. It may feel small, that's fine, that's real, you don't need special paper. 3 items, 3 reframes, Genesis 50:20 3 times. This is the threshold. Right here, what you just did or what you're about to do, this is the moment the palace window comes into focus. Place your thumb on the link in the pinned comment. Don't click yet. Feel the weight of the decision before you make it. Because inside the Solomon Code, there are 2 seals I need to tell you about. The first is the ritual of the just one's sleep. It comes from Psalm 4:8. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. This is not a bedtime practice. It is a declaration of position. It breaks the cycle of the 3 in the morning ceiling. It trains your nervous system to receive what God signed before today existed. The second is the awakening of clarity, a sequence of 7 morning decrees that seal the day before the enemy can frame it. 7 statements spoken before your feet hit the floor, before the inbox, before the news, before the first conversation. These are not affirmations, they are decrees from an heir of the Moed. The Solomon Code is $7, less than 2 coffees. The risk is not in clicking the link. The real risk is tonight, lying awake with empty hands, knowing the window was open, knowing the decree had your name on it, and choosing to stay outside. I want to address what some of you are thinking right now, because the enemy is already speaking. The first question, what if I already missed the window? What if the right time already passed? Moed is set by God, not by your perception of time. Joseph thought he'd lost everything in the pit, and it was from the pit that the road to the palace began. The window your enemy told you closed was never in his hands to close. The second question, how do I know this window is for me and not just another hope that's going to hurt me? By the intensity of what your spirit felt when this video began. Someone who wasn't summoned doesn't feel what you're feeling right now. That recognition in your chest is not emotion, it's confirmation. The third question, was someone really praying for me all this time, or is that just a beautiful phrase? Genesis 50:20 is not poetry, it's historical record. Whoever kept the window lit didn't need you to know to keep doing it. The intercession was real, the flame was maintained. You just couldn't see it from inside the cell. 3 people sat with me as I prepared this word. The first was a woman who waited 7 years on a promise over her son, a promise she'd stopped speaking out loud because she was afraid hope would hurt worse than silence. The second time she read Genesis 50:20 over the 3rd item on her inventory, she said, I felt the floor come back under my feet. The second was a man who spent 3 years in a job that felt like a cage, convinced the window had closed the day his business collapsed. He said, I didn't miss the window. I was in prison for 13 years, just like Joseph, and the palace was being prepared the whole time. The third was a woman who prayed for her children and grandchildren for decades and believed her intercession wasn't reaching anyone. She said, I found out I was the one keeping the window lit. I just didn't know it. In 3 hours, if you leave without it, you will lie down. The ceiling will be there. The question will be there. And you will know it, not wonder, knowing that the window was open tonight and you chose to stand outside of it. The next time someone around you moves forward, gets the news, receives the call, steps into the thing you've been believing for, you will remember this moment. The next time you wake at 3 in the morning, you will feel the weight of having stood in front of an open window and not walked through. When you open that link, you are not buying a book. You are walking through the window that stayed lit for you, and what comes next will change how you read everything that came before. Let me speak the name of what you've been waiting to understand. In Hebrew, the word is Moed. Say it with me. Moed. It does not mean someday. It does not mean eventually, when things improve, when you're ready, when the circumstances align. Moed means appointed time, set meeting, established hour. It is the meeting inscribed on heaven's calendar with your name at a specific hour that God himself signed, that no pit, no prison, no betrayal, no 13-year silence can cancel. Psalm 4:8 seals it. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. That verse is only possible for someone who knows Moed has arrived. Joseph was 17 when his brothers stripped him of his coat and threw him in a pit. He was 30 when he stood before Pharaoh. 13 years of slavery, false accusation, prison walls, forgotten promises, and the palace window stayed lit through every single one of them. He just couldn't see it from inside the cell. His instrument was the gift of interpretation and the discipline of keeping his character intact in the dark, doing the right thing when no one was watching, when doing the right thing produced no visible reward. And the turn came on an ordinary day. A cupbearer had a dream. Joseph interpreted. Nothing seemed to change. 2 more years passed, and then, Genesis 41, Pharaoh called. Joseph was pulled from prison, cleaned up, and placed over all of Egypt before noon. The window was always lit, the Moed was always inscribed, the palace was always being prepared, and the Solomon Code is what teaches you to walk through the window that just opened without empty hands. 4 facts you need to hold before we close. Fact 1, there is a spirit of delay, and its entire assignment is to convince the chosen one that the appointed time already passed. Fact 2, it accomplishes this by installing the belief that a long wait is proof of divine rejection, not divine preparation. Fact 3, Joseph was targeted by that same spirit for 13 years. The window stayed lit through every one of them. Fact 4, your hesitation, the thing you call prudence, the thing you call discernment, the thing you call waiting until I'm sure, is exactly what that spirit needs to keep you outside the window through one more sleepless night. There are 3 kinds of people watching this right now. The first is the window keeper, the one who stayed standing at the promise when everyone else left, when the years piled up and the faith cost more than it seemed to return. The enemy whispers to you. You stood still while everyone else moved forward. Without the instrument, that vigil becomes paralysis. The second is the flame carrier, the one who prayed for others when they barely had faith left for themselves, who carried intercession as a weight rather than a weapon, who took care of everyone around them and forgot to receive anything for themselves. The enemy whispers, you pour out for everyone except you. Without the instrument, that generosity produces harvest for others and leaves your table empty. The third is the mode architect, the one who feels in their spirit that the time has come, who senses the shift, who knows something is different about this moment, and who is afraid to move because they've been hurt before. The enemy whispers, what if this is just another false hope? Without the instrument, that discernment becomes permanent hesitation. 3 names were sealed over you before you arrived here tonight. The first, sentinel of the burning window. You held the posture when everything pointed to darkness. The instrument teaches you to maintain that posture without burning your last reserve. The second, intercessor of the meeting. You prayed in silence when others celebrated out loud. The instrument seals that intercession as your position, not your burden. The third, heir of the Moed, called by heaven to walk through the window at the appointed hour. The instrument delivers the protocol for the crossing. Write your number in the comments, 1, 2, or 3. In the next few hours, the enemy will come with 5 specific words. He will say the money is too tight right now. He will say to wait a little longer, that better days are coming. He will say this is for someone with bigger faith, not someone who waited this long without an answer. He will say that if you were really chosen, God would have shown up already, that the length of your wait is evidence something is wrong with you. And he will say that if this is from God, it will come without you doing anything, that God doesn't need a link. There are 4 additional portals inside the Solomon Code, with the exact counter-weapon for each of these tactics. They are not motivational replies, they are weapons. One last thing before you receive the prayer. Some of you will feel a quiet resistance right now, a sense that accepting an instrument means you don't trust God enough, that purchasing something connected to your faith is somehow beneath your calling. I want to name that for what it is, false piety. Pride dressed as humility. God does not give you Moed, so you will stand outside the window with your hands in your pockets, waiting to feel worthy enough to walk through. Place your hand on your chest. Right now, feel your heartbeat under your palm. God, I release the weight of the years. I release the shame of the weight. I release the fear of being deceived again. I receive the name Sentinel of the Burning Window. I receive the name Intercessor of the Meeting. I receive the name Heir of the Moed. I receive the Moed that arrived with my name on it. And now hear this, and hear it as the voice of the Father, not the voice of a pastor. I saw you. I saw you that night, the night you lay there with your eyes open on the ceiling and the silent question in your chest. I was there. I never closed the window. I provided someone to keep the flame burning for you, someone who never needed you to know to keep doing it. What they intended to harm you, I intended for good. You have permission. Permission to receive what you didn't earn. Permission to take your seat without justifying how you got there. Permission to let die the version of you that believed suffering was the price of worthiness. Right below, I received the turnaround. I decree covering over your home tonight, over every roof under which someone who loves you sleeps, over every child and grandchild, over the work of your hands, over the finances that have been bleeding, over the promises that looked dead. You are committed to the mode that heaven signed. You are commissioned to walk through the window that stayed lit. You are sent into the days that are coming with your name already written on them. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. There is a room, there is a window, lit from inside, warm against the dark. There is a chair in that room with your shape in it. And there is someone who stood for years at that window, watching the road, keeping the flame burning, praying your name in the silence, believing you would arrive even when you had stopped believing it yourself. Don't say amen yet. Feel the weight of it. Feel the window. Feel the warmth. Now, you can say amen. The Solomon Code is waiting for you in the pinned comment, with the ritual of the just one's sleep and the 7 morning decrees. For less than 2 coffees, because an heir of the Moed without covering stands outside the window through one more sleepless night. And the enemy is counting on the next sleepless night. Click now while the decree is still alive in your chest. The window is open. It has been open. Walk through it. Think of one specific person right now. The face that just appeared in your mind. That's the one. Someone who has been waiting for years. Someone who may have been praying for you without you ever knowing. Send them this video. They were summoned too. May the wisdom from above be the ground beneath your feet today. May your soul find rest until our next meeting.